Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today is kind of like a fun video. It's not kind of like your usual makeup tutorial. This is kind of more of like a hacks, tips, tricks slash products that I'm kind of emphasizing on video, if that makes sense, on how to look face tuned in real life. Now I know this video isn't going to be for everyone. This is going to be a lot of makeup, but I feel like you wouldn't be watching this if you didn't want to look face tuned, and a lot of people that use FACETUNE wear a lot of makeup. That's kind of the whole point. This is just my kind of way of looking naturally face tuned, or just like makeup that always looks good in pictures and stands out in pictures so you don't have to use FACETUNE type makeup. So I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I did actually do this makeup look on my Instagram stories like the other day, which is what inspired me to do this video, because it lasted and looked amazing throughout the day, if I do say so myself. And I just thought, yo, I really need to put you guys onto these products. It's a very me tutorial, obviously. Like I said, this is kind of more of a hack slash tip slash focus on the products type video, using some exciting new products, some exciting new brow products as well, which I hope you guys are excited for, as well as some tips, tricks and hacks along the way. But yeah, without further ado, if you want to see how I got this makeup tutorial, if I do say so myself, looking fairly filtered, but there is no filter. Essentially, if you want to know how to look beat as f without using FACETUNE in real life, then please keep watching. Okay, so before we begin, I am going to be doing my eyes and brows first, just because we are going to be doing a winged out look today, which is kind of like one of my tips for makeup kind of always looking good from a distance and in pictures and just stuff like that. I will explain that in a little bit. But I am going to go ahead and do my brows, and I'm really excited because I'm going to be using a new product which I have found has made such a difference in the way that my brows look and just in photos and everything like that. So here we go. So a little hack and tip that I've learned for kind of making my brows look a little bit thicker and fluffier, and therefore kind of looking their best in photos, is to prime them before. So I'm going to be using this new product from Iconic London. This is their Brow Silk. It is super easy to use. You can use this wet or dry, and it does come with like this really bougie looking toothbrush to be able to brush up the hair. So what you do, like I said, either wet or dry, is use this brush into the product and just brush up your hairs before applying any extra product. Or if you actually have naturally voluminous brows, this just creates the most gorgeous Instagram feathered fluffy brow, which I'm obsessed with and looks so beautiful in pictures. Or if you're like me, this is great to use just before you use product to then fill in. The product just looks a lot more fuller on your brows. Your hairs look a lot fuller on your brows, and I'm just obsessed with the way that this makes my brows look. So you can see this brow, just everything is just kind of all out of place, and the product kind of has like nothing to cling to. This just kind of locks everything in place, gives your hairs like, it's almost like hairspray and primer, but yeah, for your eyebrows, which I am obsessed with. It makes all of your hairs go in that one direction, and the same direction that you want the brush strokes to go in if you go ahead and fill in your eyebrow, which I am gonna do. This just really gives something for the product to cling to, makes everything look so neat and tidy, so much fuller and fluffier as well, because this is quite like a waxy product, which is really, really great when it comes to applying product on the top. Everything's gonna really cling to it, and just like I said, look so much fuller and fluffier. So I'm obsessed with the way that that looks, and as you can see, when you fill it in with additional product as well, I'm just using the Iconic London brow cushions in the shade Fair and Medium to do this. And then you can see we have our really full Instagram looking fluffy feathered brow. I'm obsessed, and they just look so beautiful in pictures and really stand out. And then once you're happy with the shape of your brow, you can actually go back in with the Brow Silk, and this basically acts as a brow setter as well. And this is the time that I kind of like to use the product wet, so I'm going to go ahead and use the Iconic London Prep Set Glow Spray. Just going to spray a little bit onto the product, give the brush a little bit of a swirl around on there, and just lock everything in place. Make sure all the hairs are like locked in, feathered up at the front, and just looking a lot thicker and fuller, because if you're like me and you barely have any brows, this is exactly the look that we're going for, and this is going to really help make them stand out in pictures, and so you don't have to FACETUNE your eyebrows, because I know some of y'all are that extra. So I'm just going to go ahead and like clean it up with concealer and stuff, but you can see the difference and how like thicker and fluffier this brow is. I'm obsessed with this product and the way that it looks. I feel like using brow silk product like this before you apply any product makes such a difference in the way that your brows look and last. They look so much thicker and fluffier, like I've said. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the other eyebrow. I've left the link to all of those products in the description bar down below if you're interested in excelling your brow game for face-tuned, feathered, thicker looking eyebrows. So make sure you check that out. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do my other eyebrow and then we can be back for the eye hacks for Facetune makeup. Okay, so both eyebrows are done. Now, when it comes to eye makeup and in photos, I have just come to realize, especially if maybe you're taking a lot of photos from a distance or stuff, a winged eyeliner just always shows up. And I've kind of fallen back in love with winged eyeliner, and especially with just an all matte eye. I feel like that's my go-to look recently. When I just want something to look good, I go for an all matte eye, like a warm toned all matte eye, a winged eyeliner, and a big pair of lashes. I feel like I can't really go wrong with that. I found recently sometimes with shimmers they just don't last, and I'm always finding with shimmers that's what people want to edit the most on Facetune, whereas with mattes they kind of just last on your eye. We can really pack them on and nothing's really going to transfer in terms of like shimmeriness and kind of show up on any creases or anything. So especially if you have slightly more aged skin, a matte eye is just beautiful. I feel like it's beautiful on everyone and they last, like I said. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a really easy warm matte eye and a winged eyeliner. I'm gonna be using my Rachel Ultimate Goddess palettes. This has a lot of shades in it, perfect for a matte eye. I always tend to go for Tanta. Well, actually I start with Oh Honey, Passion Fruit Martini, Tantastic, and I love the Indulge bronzer shade, and sometimes I go in with a little bit of 70% as well. So like I said, I'm just gonna go ahead and create like a really basic matte smoky eye all over the lid. You guys know the drill, just going from light to dark, blending it all together. So yeah, this is also just like a really simple eye look as well, which is always a bonus. So like I said, super basic, super easy, and I feel like it makes like, it just looks the best in pictures because there's not going to be any transfer and you don't have to worry about trying to make your lid color look all bright and anything like that. So now I'm going to go ahead and just do a winged eyeliner. This is the L'Oreal Flash Cat Eye Super Liner. I'm obsessed with this one. Just going to do like a medium thickish size wing, so I know it's going to show up in photos. So when you add in those details, honey, you're not going to have to like draw any extra shit on. This is just going to look blacker than the night. So I'm just gonna sort of like leave it like that for the time being, because once I've kind of done my basic eyeliner, I do like to go back in with a darker eyeshadow. Like I said earlier, I'm gonna take the shade 70% from my eyeshadow palette and just smoke it out before we clean anything out. I'm just gonna kind of smoke out the eyeliner. Again, I really think this just really shows up in pictures a lot more, makes the eyeliner look a lot more like black and smoky, and again, I just really think this is captured in photos. I actually know a lot of people that would edit this effect on, so why don't you just do it now? Use a dark brown, black eyeshadow to smoke out your eyeliner. This also hides any sort of mistakes, so again, you don't have to Facetune them out. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do my other eye with eyeliner and clean up underneath, and then I've got a little trick for an inner corner highlighter and lashes, and then we can move on to the skin. Okay, so both eyes are completed, and for lashes, I toss up between these two all the time, but they're very similar in the sense that these are the Unicorn Lashes in Vixen. They just are super kind of wispy and winged out, but are quite thick at the same time, but they are still super comfortable to wear. They are a very loved pair of lashes by me, as well as my Doll Beauty Esmeraldas. You guys know this. They just show up so nicely, especially when you have a wing going on. Always look good from a distance as well, if you're having a lot of pictures taken, so a little tip there. Bigger and thicker does tend to be a little bit more noticeable in pictures. It's just the way that it goes. But in terms of the inner corner highlight, what I really like to do is take a little bit of glitter glue. This is just from NYX, and this is the Doll Beauty pigment in Humbug. It literally is the most gorgeous pale shimmery gold. I just apply a little bit of glue in the inner corner and press this on top, and this genuinely looks like a face-tuned inner corner in real life. I'm obsessed with this, and the glue and primer helps to make it last all evening as well, so the shininess and the poppiness of it just doesn't fade throughout the evening. Okay, so I went ahead and then just obviously did the inner corner and popped the eyelashes on. As you can see, they are super full and voluminous, and the eyeshadow is just, you can see it's just that warmth there. There's nothing to really transfer or anything like that. It's gonna stay looking beaut all day. So now we can move on to the skin, which, as you guys know, is literally always my favorite part. Okay, so as you guys know, I am like a trier and tester of full coverage foundations and mixing together and finding the best combos and just always wanting to know the best foundation and what looks the best in pictures. That's like always my goal. It's basically my job, and I always like to let you guys know and give you guys tips. And recently I've just kind of discovered that foundations that are full coverage and luminous, so claim that they have a luminous finish in combination with a shit ton of translucent powder on the top to like set and lock it all in place, just throughout the day and in photos look the best. So anything with luminous or radiant claims to it that is full coverage plus a really good translucent powder, I just think in photos and, like I said, just throughout the day looks the most beautiful yet natural and just always looks the best in pictures. So recently I have been reaching for the NARS All Day Luminous foundation. I was wearing the radiant one a while back, love that one still, but I've just kind of been drawn back to this one. And a little tip when it comes to foundation and photos as well, I do, as you guys are aware on this channel, like to wear a slightly darker foundation, only to like match my tan and stuff, but it is probably a couple of shades or like one shade darker than my natural skin tone. But then I love to balance it out with a much brighter, lighter concealer. And again, this is another tip for looking really good in pictures as well. For some reason, I feel like that just kind of like looks the best in photos, I find. When you have flash, it does tend to like lighten up your face anyway, so having a slightly darker foundation, I'm not saying like 500 shades dark, I'm just saying like literally only a couple of shades, so it obviously still looks natural when you blend it down. If you're doing a lot of flash photography and stuff, it's just gonna, where it would naturally like lighten up your face, it's just gonna make it look a lot more natural and all blended together and still give you like a bit of color to your face, you know. And I also love to use cream products when it comes to photography as well. I think they look so much like lighter and more natural again, so you get a lot more like natural pigmentation out of them, so you won't be having to use the smoothing and tones tools in FACETUNE, because your face is going to look naturally FACETUNED, and I feel like you achieve that the most with cream products, and then you can go back in slightly with powders afterwards. But yeah, all about the creams. So like I said, I'm going to go in with the NARS foundations. I'm using the shades Stromboli and Syracuse, mainly the Syracuse shade, which is the slightly darker one, all over my skin. I'm then going to use the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. Common theme here with the radiance, the luminous in the names of these products. I really like a sort of like slightly dewy satin finish. And then I'm going in with the Pro HD concealer palette for my cream contour and just blending this all in with like a beauty blender and dual fiber brushes, all of that good stuff. I will left the links and names of everything down below because obviously I know I'm not going into too much detail with them, but they're all linked down below. And then yeah, going ahead and setting everything with translucent powder. You guys know the Beauty Bakery Flower translucent powder is my favorite. I'm not sure what is in this, and maybe it's crack, I'm not sure, but it genuinely is FACETUNE in a powder. I'm obsessed with it. So yeah, that is my kind of like flawless FACETUNED base routine. Let me just do a close-up of my skin right now because I just feel like this looks so smooth and airbrushed and unfacetuned. There's no filter on this camera right now, like and it genuinely stays like this for like majority of the day. If anything, it gets like a little bit of like natural sweat dew type thing, but the combination of that like luminous foundation mixed like with a lot of that powder, I don't know, it just looks super natural. And there's a product at the end as well that helps to do the same sort of effect, so I'm obsessed. But now I'm just gonna go ahead and do some face products, just like a little bit of contouring, blusher, and I'm gonna go ahead and finish up underneath my eyes because they're not really tips on how to look FACETUNED unless you're not wearing any eyeshadow underneath your eyes ever. Try that if you're doing eye makeup for the gram or whatever, and maybe you just find that your eye makeup doesn't show up in pictures. Having a bit of eyeshadow underneath your eye that just kind of complements everything is a great tip for that. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then we can move back to the FACETUNE tips. Okay, so like I said, I've just gone ahead and applied a little bit of blusher, a little bit of bronzer, contour, and finished up underneath the eyes. Now you guys should probably be able to guess what this next step I'm gonna say, and I will not stop talking about it until people start clocking on. If you guys actually do this, then send me pictures on Twitter or Instagram showing me like you guys using it or doing this technique and the difference that it makes. But a shimmery bronzer makes such a difference to your makeup and photos. I literally cannot express it enough. And I may be slightly biased, create a beautiful one in my Goddess on the Go eyeshadow palette. This is the shade Golden Hour. I just take a big fluffy brush and dust this basically where you would dust a bronzer. So like all around, kind of like the forehead area, on the cheeks, just like lightly on the tip of your nose, and you can just take it down here. Basically apply it wherever you want, but instantly it just looks so dewy and bronzed and beautiful, and in photos that really like picks up underneath your highlighter and stuff like that. I don't know why more people don't do it. I think I've said this before, whenever I do my friends' makeup, this step of shimmery bronzer, whenever they say like, oh my god, like why can't I get my skin to look like that or something, I'm just saying like it's the shimmery bronzer. It makes such a difference. Honestly, I am obsessed with the way that it looks. I know it may not be for everyone, but you're obviously watching this tutorial if you want to look face tuned and makeup for photos and stuff, and I'm telling you, this is like a killer step. Now recently I've discovered a way to make my highlighter kind of like pop and really just kind of like look and stand out on my face. I like to apply two highlighters, one of a slightly more yellower golden undertone and then one of like a kind of pearlescent undertone. So for the yellow highlighter, I am going to take the shade Ultimate Goddess from my Ultimate Goddess eyeshadow palette. I'm just going to take this on like a bigger sort of like fluffier brush. This is a Morphe Jaclyn Hill JH09 brush. I'm going to spray it with a Fix Plus, just like a couple of light spritz, and then use this as like my base glow. Like look at that, it really is just like beaming on my face. That literally looks like Facetune. I have drawn the Facetune tones on my face right now with this. I'm not even joking. And this golden yellow color just looks so beautiful. I feel like I saw a lot of paler or fairer skinned people saying that they didn't think that they could use this at all. Honestly, if you pick it up like the tiniest amount, maybe don't spray it with Fix Plus. If you're like me, I'm spraying this to make it more intense, and just lightly dust and build till so it doesn't look too unnatural, and only really use it as like an underglow. I really feel like it looks beautiful on everyone. So again, on this side, just on the highest points. Honestly, I don't know if that's just me, but that just looks like a real life Facetune. But I'm not just gonna leave it there, because like I said, I have discovered that I think layering highlighters looks like tones in real life on Facetune, and I'm actually gonna go ahead and use the Inglot Living the Highlight Jennifer Lopez highlighter, and this stuff is intense, which is why I'm gonna take it on a much smaller, denser brush, and I'm not gonna wet it this time, but just dab it on the top like so. Facetune. Who? Thank you. So now the highlight is complete. That's pretty much all that we are going to do for the skin, but this is a killer product as well. This is the Hyaluronic Fix Spray. I rave about this constantly as well. I don't know what this does. It's like that Beauty Bakery powder. Is this crack in a bottle? I'm not sure, because it sure does do something to my skin, and it just makes everything just look, again, Facetune, photoshopped. I'm not sure. So I'm just going to go ahead and set and spray it to finish off my skin with this. So while that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and apply my lip, and then the final tip is going to be the lip gloss that we use, because I recently just found this in my collection and I feel like it just makes the biggest difference. So yeah, I'm just going to do my lip, let that set in place, and I'll be back with the final product. Okay, so that's all set, and I've just gone ahead and applied a lip, but this gloss has literally changed my life. If you guys did see the gloss, obviously, that I used on my Instagram story, you will know what this is. This is a MAC Dazzle Gloss. Now, I used to work at MAC, and these are like quite like a thick gloss, but I don't know if they've reformulated them or not, but they are definitely a lot more comfortable than I remember them ever being. They used to be really sticky, but now this is just kind of quite thick, so it really kind of shows up and looks like real life detailed lips from Facetune, but they're super comfortable as well. So this is the shade Go for Gold. It is like the most beautiful kind of shimmery nude shade, and if you're into matte lips, then obviously you don't need to do this step, but for us Facetune lovers that love a glossy lip and love to add the detail on there, this is literally just like real life detail, and it stays like it for a long time. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pop that on. Can you see they literally just look like glass? I am obsessed. But that, my friends, is the finished makeup look. So you guys, this was the finished kind of makeup tutorial slash hacks on how to look face-tuned in real life with, you know, out having to use Facetune. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. I have left all the products in the description bar down below. Make sure you check out the iconic London brow stuff as well. That stuff is game-changing. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.